Yo, what up guys, Travic here, and today I want to talk about something fun. If you've known me and you've watched my videos in the past, you know I'm always looking for fun, cool, quirky ideas or new awesome builds to play. Very recently, I participated in the gauntlet and I tried a variety of different things, and one build that really caught my attention was Jung's aurabot. I thought it was really cool. I like the concept of aurabotting. I've aurabotted in the past with her friends before, and it just overall with mercenaries seems like a really cool idea. In the gauntlet, I had died. I used a mercenary to get back through the campaign and make my way and progress a little more and get a new mercenary and die and progress a little bit more. And after that, I said, you know, gauntlet's going on. I want to take that to a new level. I want to play with a mercenary. I want to do kind of like an aurabot shenanigans. So I started doing some research. So the first things first is I hopped on Reddit and I started looking around and I saw this really cool Reddit thread and I was reading about it and I was looking at it. And this gentleman played with an aurabot POB and a mercenary POB, and he was playing this cool precision arrow character. They did all this really neat stuff, and I was just like, this is so cool. So I took this Reddit thread and I showed it to my friends, and my friends were like, yo, that's a really cool idea. You should totally try it out. So I started doing some more research. I talked about it on stream, and my buddy Sax reached out to me. He goes, hey man, I have exactly what you need. You could showcase it, you could play it, you could see if you like it, and if it's something cool, maybe you can inspire more people to go out and figure out some cool stuff. So I was like, awesome, what do you have? So Sax sends me over his POB, and I'm looking at this crazy Necromancer aurabot. Now, the first thing that came out of my mouth was like, not Scion? Question mark? Not champion? Question mark? And he was like, nope. You play it as Necromancer. It's really sweet. This is my baby. I did a lot of work for it. And he sends me this POB and I start looking at all the gear and I'm like, bro, this is crazy. And he goes, yeah, but if you see it play, it's awesome and you'll want to do it. So I listened to him, I heard him out, and he was just like, try it out, see what's going on. And I said, okay, tell me what I need. He goes, first and foremost, you're going to need a mercenary. And I said, okay, what do I need? And he goes, you need a molten strike mercenary, something very similar to this. And I said, okay, why do I need this molten strike mercenary? And he goes, well, this kills Ubers. And I was just like, and I didn't believe it at first. And then I went and he was just like, did you see Jung kill, Ubers? And I was like, no. And I saw, Jung had a different merc, but he was able to kill Ubers in the gauntlet with his aurabot on a life-based one with way less investment. And I was like, that's the craziest thing I've ever seen. And then he goes, then you're going to need a kineticist, and you're going to need a kineticist with returning projectile, something very similar to this. And I said, okay, great. So he goes, once you go get those two things, come back to me. So I go in game, I look for a kineticist. I say, is this one good enough? And he goes, it's okay, it's a start. And then I say, well, what about this one? Let me hide my face. And he goes, it's okay, it's a start. So I said, okay, so I got two crummy mercs, what's next? And he goes, next you borrow all the gear. So he logs on, he hands me all his gear. I put all the gear on, I level a witch. And, I get the whole POB set up and the whole tree set up. And he goes, go do a map and see what happens. So I said, okay. I said, what should I run or what should I run? He goes, just do whatever the hell you want. I said, whatever I want. He goes, whatever you want. So he goes, you can do, rogue exiles. You can self-farm rogue exiles. You can do your dunes thing. You can do your alvas thing. You can pretty much do whatever you want. So I said, okay, let's go give it a shot. So one of my favorite farms this league, or one that I've done a lot, that you guys have seen me done a lot, is I love running these breach maps. I love doing these 16-5s. I love juicing my maps for more currency. I love the huge explosions of breach. So I said, let's take it into a breach map and just kind of see what's going on. Now, aurabotting is really interesting and really weird because you're going to use Flame Link to give your mercenary a whole lot of damage. And I mean a whole lot of damage. I mean a whole lot of damage. And then you get to top it off with Pyroclast Mines to give them even more damage. But when I was able to just go into a map like this and just not have to do anything, and my mercenary was able to just completely and utterly dominate everything, I was completely blown away. All this has showcased to me, and all this so far has told me, is that going forward, GGG, I hope mercenaries stay. I hope we can gear out our own mercenaries. I hope we can play with mercenaries. I hope mercenaries never leave the game, because even in the gauntlet, mercenaries made the experience 1,000 times more enjoyable. And it's just something that I would like going forward to keep in the game. Now, granted, there are probably some changes that need to happen, like probably removing Doriani. And I've seen some really good suggestion from people on Reddit about what to deal with Doriani. And I get some items make mercs just completely and utterly overpowered and busted. But the fact that I can play a character and support a mercenary and be able to clear all the content is really, really, really interesting. Because if you followed along with the gauntlet at all and you watched what Jung did, he was able to just like, you know, in an SSF scenario, granted he's way better than the average player, he was able in an SSF scenario to make a life-based aurabot, which is a very common thing if you just do some research, and make that able to clear all of the gauntlet with a mercenary. And that tells me a couple of things. First and foremost, if mercenaries do stay around and life-based aurabots do stay around, then there is a really good opportunity to just build a life-based mercenary or life-based aurabot from league start, level it very similar to how Jung did with explosive concoction or any of the cool leveling techniques to just get through the campaign, find a really good mercenary, and then you're really just kind of like off to the races in a softcore environment where if you die, it's okay because it's softcore and you can keep going. So that's really exciting to me and gives me a lot of hopes and plans for the future. But you can see right now, this character is just doing everything that I wanted to do. It's clearing these breaches, no problem. I'm able to go, I can even like start this mercenary. I'm actually looking for one, so I needed to make sure this is the one that I need. I'm able to even just come over here and start this mercenary, and my aurabot just completely kills it without problems at all. Now, granted, the mercenary has some really good gear, and if you paid attention to the gauntlet, Jung's mercenary also had some really good gear, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for even on the basic of basic budget. Now, currently, this build is not budget at all. My friend did not have a budget set up. What he gave me was his juiced out of its mind character, and he said, see if you like the concept first, see if you enjoy the play style, and if you enjoy the play style, you know, give all the stuff back and then go out and find a way to build it how you want, whether it be on a budget, whether it be a completely different way, whether it be life-based, whether it be you copy something else. And that's what I plan to do. I plan to farm, you know, with this for a little bit longer. I have to give it back to him in like a day or so, and then I'm going to start doing my own research, and with the currency that I have, I'm going to go out and build a cool little aurabot just so I can do things. Now, will it be Necromancer like this one? I don't know. Will it be Scion like this one? I don't know. How will I do it? What direction will I do? I do not know. But today's video is meant to be more of a showcase of what characters like this can do, because I wasn't really aware of how powerful these characters are until I started watching the gauntlet. Like, you always hear stories about aurabots, and aurabots are always telling you that, you know, you can do these wild and crazy things, but I didn't know. I wasn't really aware. And the fact that I can take characters and not have to worry about anything and just have them do the work for me while supporting them. I've never been much of a support character or support guy, but it's pretty cool. I won't even lie to you. Look, I even leveled in this map. Like, that's crazy. I wasn't even doing anything or paying attention, and I managed to level no problem in this map, and it's going very, very, very well. Just gonna finish this up here, make sure I don't accidentally drop a mirror, and then we'll go back to town and we'll showcase the other side of it. Now, this character, like I said, this variant of aurabot is on the more expensive side. You will put a pretty penny in to get character like Sax is working very well. But what my goal is and my hope is that this video just showcases that you can do really cool and powerful things and inspires players to go do some research and find something cool that supports their needs within their reach. And the reason I say this is because, like I said, we saw Jung in the gauntlet able to go out and do everything, so we know it's possible. Now, this character has a kineticist. The kineticist is very geared. I will hover over its gear. You can go through the video and pause it, but its gear is designed to be an insane rarity bot. It's synthesized gear with rarity in every single piece. You know, it uses the vermilion ring to just have a ton of fire damage, headhunter with rarity, boots with rarity, ring with rarity, amulet with rarity, and a shield with frenzy charges and so forth and so on. Now, on the other side of the coin, if I move some gear over and I grab some gear here, I can actually make it so that my other mercenary, the Molten Strike guy, is able to do Ubers. And that's the fact that this guy can do Ubers is just completely crazy to me. It's just absolutely wild. So let's come over here. Let's grab some fragments. Now, I am not the best bosser. So there is a world where I don't do this right and I fail because mechanically I am an idiot. And I'm letting you guys know from now. Actually don't even know where this point is supposed to go. I have to like look at the POV and figure it out. I do know I need this jewel socket, so we'll just go down this way to this jewel socket. But we, you know, we'll see what happens. Oh, I gotta invite the right mercenary. Hold on. I'm still getting used to doing this. This is so cool, man. I'm having such a good time. Okay, so we have the right mercenary. He's doing his thing. He's linked. We're gonna throw down some stuff here, and then we're gonna let. Eventually, he's gonna molten strike. Why he's not molten striking, I don't know. But give him a second. He'll start doing whatever he's supposed to be doing. There he goes. And look, this is crazy. For Ubers, it's crazy. It's a mercenary, man. Look at him. He's just going. He's whooping ass, man. He's straight whooping ass, dude. Now, yes, I know you can just make an Uber boss there and you can be done with Ubers in like 0.2, 0.3 of a second. But the fact that this guy is just straight up just going to town, man. I'm just like, what the hell? Now, that's really cool. Yeah, I'm just so baffled. Now, I don't know how much, you know, if I'm doing the whole mercenary aurabot thing, I would go, you know, into this Uber. I've seen a lot of people try this Uber with mercs and aurabots, and I've seen this boss and completely and utterly bad, but you can indeed come into this one, and after the damage, the DR stage, you know, your mercenary is gonna do his thing, and then he's just gonna just deal a whole lot of damage. Just don't die to, like, obviously, to, like, you know, the mechanics. But, you know, if you decide to do Eater and Exarch, just, you know, I would just be careful of your mercenary attempting to PK you. We've seen this happen a couple of times very recently where, like, you know, you hit the balls and then your mercenary hits the balls, and then the next thing you know, you're dead. So if I die here, just, you know, blame a mercenary because he decided that he's gonna, like, you know, his face is gonna meet a whole lot of balls. It's not my cup of tea, but I understand that the mercenaries, they like to jump face first into some balls. You know, it's just what they want to do. But if you don't manage to, like, not just have your face first into a whole lot of balls, and you want to go farm some Ubers, you can go farm some Ubers. Now, the only thing that sucks about farming Ubers with a mercenary is, like, you know, it's not the 5-second be-all end-all Uber killer, like if you were to build, like, say, Ice Trap Assassin or something neat like that. But if you're just looking for something that's like, oh god, he's gonna PK me on balls, oh Jesus. But if you're looking for something that's a really cool all-arounder, supporting a Merc and doing an aurabot setup is pretty sweet, man. Now, I know a bunch of people are like, oh, well, you know, this character is super duper duper expensive. And you're right, this character is super duper expensive. This character is crazy expensive. There is a lot going on with this character, but there is the possibility to be able to do it on a budget, and you can do it really cheap. Like, you know, we've seen Jung do it in the, you know, I keep going back to the gauntlet, but we saw Jung do it in the gauntlet, and you can play life-based aurabots. And, you know, I'm hoping that if I have the time this week, I'm going to go look for a cool life-based aurabot and see if I can do it in an SSS scenario or from the ground up and just be able to play and enjoy it. Because my hope, my fingers crossed, is in 3.26 that, you know, we get to keep aurabots, or we get to keep mercenaries. Now, that's a, you know, that's 2 Ubers in a map. It's pretty good. You can go into tier 17 maps. You can clear tier 17 maps, no problem. And you can pretty much do any strategy that you as the player want to do. Now, this character is a Necromancer. Why is it a Necromancer? Well, Necromancer has some really cool features, and it's a little bit different. It's not your standard aurabot. You know, Necromancer has Command of Darkness to give you more attack and cast speed to you per aura. You know, auras from your skills grant, so every aura gets you another 3% cast and attack speed. You deal 30% damage, have 30% resistances. You know, for each nearby corpse, you and your allies receive 2.2% energy shield regeneration, you know, mana regen. You regenerate, you know, a bunch of, just a whole lot of energy shield from this. This node over here, you know, your offerings affect you. And then over here, if there's corpses on the ground, you and your allies deal 10% more damage, and then monsters deal 10% less damage. And while you're mapping, there's always corpses everywhere, so it's kind of nice. Now, we are using the Darkseer. The Darkseer is doing everything that the Darkseer does. You know, spell skill gems, blind, malediction, the whole 9 yards, a bunch of, like, level, you know, energy shield per level, mana per level, also really good for life. And inside of that, we have an Empower with a Flame Link, and then we have a Portal Gem so that we have Val Breach. Now, what's really cool about the Kineticist Mercenary is because it has a headhunter, if things start to go south and you need some more enemies, you can just press your Valve Breach like you would on any Deadeye character, and that will give you a whole lot of mobs to just kind of like fill the need, or if you have to like pour it out, pour it in, or if you randomly die and you need to start the chain up again, Valve Breach is a really good way to save you from that. We're using the Hand of Fresia gloves. These give you 40% non-curse effect from your auras while you have a linked target, and it just completely buffs up your mercenary to the moon. You know, we have Inside and Enlighten, a shield charge, faster attacks, and Tempest Shield. This way we can bounce around as much as you need to. Now, you are fast without the shield charge, so you can actually like take off faster attacks if you wanted to and replace it with like a Frost Blank or a Flame Dash or another teleporting movement like skill. Mage Blood speaks for itself. We have the Bubonic Trail boots here. These are really interesting boots because it gives you mana reservation per unique Abyss Jewel, and we do have a unique Abyss Jewel, and you get movement speed while affected by magic jewels, and you get duration of ailments while affected by rare jewels. But in the boots, you see we do have a Kurogul's Gaze as our unique jewel, giving us more mana reservation, and we have Hypnotic Eye jewels giving us more mana, you know, just kind of like, or sorry, more Arcane Surge kind of going on. And you see here we have a Searching Eye jewel. We can't be maimed, which is really nice. And our boots also have Pyroclast Mine the Sabotage, which fires additional projectile and adds a whole bunch of damage to enemies near it. So while I was in that boss fight, I should have actually been casting more mines to be able to do more damage, and minefield support to throw a whole lot of more mines. Our ring on our aurabot is a manifold ring, you know, int energy shield, non-channeling skills, so we can cast our spells. They cost no mana, and we don't have to worry about any of our mana because we don't have a whole lot of mana. We want to be able to cast everything with ease. Our chest plate is one of those very cool, unique ones where we fracture global defenses onto a Twilight Regalia. So you have to get the breach ring from Chayula, move it over to a Twilight Regalia, fracture it, and then you craft up your chest plate using essences. If you have questions on how to make the chest plate, you know, feel free to ask down below, and we will try to get you a step-by-step on how to do it. And the chest plate, we have another Enlighten, a Purity of Fire, a Grace, a Purity of Lightning, a Purity of Ice, and a Purity of Elements. This way we have all of our resistances as high as possible, and when we are linked, we are 90 across the board. We're also Chaos Immune, so that's pretty sweet. But yeah, we have 90 resistances across the board. Our helmet is indeed a mirrored helmet. There are a bunch of cool mirrored items going around this league, and like I mentioned, there are ways to do this on a budget. You don't need to have crazy gear like this. But our helmet gives us a whole bunch of level of socketed gems, and inside of our helmet we have an Anger, a Determination, Enlighten, and a Haste support, so that we can be the supporters of haste and scale our haste to the moon. Our amulet is an Eternal Struggle, and this is just, you know, maximum energy shield and non-curse auras, anointed the champion of the cause, a Calandra's touch ring to, you know, copy our manifold ring, and a shield that gives us chance to block, spell block, increase non-curse auras from skills, recover block, and int. This shield's a bit of a pain in the ass to make. I won't even begin to lie to you. I believe my friend did a whole lot of recomming and a whole lot of praying, and it eventually went, and this shield is going to be probably a pain. But the really cool thing about that shield is it does help make us block capped, which is really, really, really nice, and you are indeed block capped. As far as the helmet, as far as the shield goes, we have another Enlighten, a Precision, and a Discipline. Our flask are very straightforward. Granite flask with movement speed, Quartz flask for reverse effective curses, Jade flask for evasion, and a Quicksilver flask to regenerate life. Yes, I know we're ES based. Yes, I know we have regenerate life on the flask. Yes, I know that's the thing, but we take Zealot's Oath to compensate for that. As far as our tree goes, I'm going to be giving you a link to Sack's POB directly down below, and it'll tell you where all 100 points go, because I, you know, for a second I didn't know where this point was supposed to go, and I remember I got to take this jewel socket. But the tree in itself is pretty crazy and pretty straightforward. You come up over here for 3 socket voices, and you get a whole bunch of small 35% mana reservation clusters, CI so that you're immune to chaos damage, an impossible escape to come down over here for precise techniques so that we can get leader of the pack and the reservation node. And then wait, I know where this point goes. Reservation efficiency. We come over here, we have an intuitive leap with corrupted blood can't be inflicted on us. We grab charisma and a reservation node over here. We have a light of meaning for energy shield in here, and we pair it with the unnatural instinct tech as you see here, so that we can get all the beautiful benefits of unnatural instinct. You even have a little strength node over here that you can tattoo with whatever you need it to be. And the tree, like I said, is pretty straightforward. Up here, we have another voices so that we can have more 35% mana efficiency clusters to fill on our build. We have Thread of Hope over here so that we can grab Glancing Blows down here to give us block cap, more reservation efficiency to fit in all of our auras. And then we have a Forbidden Flesh and Flame for Vile Bastion. Vile Bastion is a really interesting one. These are expensive. I didn't realize how expensive these were, but these give you Vile Bastion, which regenerates 100 energy shield per second, cannot be stunned while you have energy shield, and maximum energy shield is increased by chance to block spell damage. So because we're spell block capped, we get a whole bunch of energy shield, a whole bunch of energy shield regen, and we can't be stunned, which is absolutely positively wild. Now, the last thing this build has is we do have an Elegant Hubris here, and it's here because it gives us 3 curse aura nodes. I think there's a world where you can actually put it here, I think, and you can go for this node, and this node, and path up this way instead. So instead of pathing this way, you can path up this way and put it here, I think. I have to double check. But if you're looking for this jewel probably doesn't exist because finding timeless jewels this league has been an absolute nightmare. But there's a world where this link exists. But overall, the character in itself is really cool, is a lot of fun, and if anything, Sax has inspired me to go out and find a whole bunch of different ways to play aurabot. I've never really played aurabot a lot in the past. I've done it once before with a buddy of mine. We did some group play, and I thought aurabotting was really cool. My buddy Reality does aurabotting all the time. He loves it to death, and I've never really gotten to experience it. And I'm hoping if mercenaries stay in 3.27, it gives me the want and need like it does right now to make an aurabot, because if that's the case, there might be a way to like league start aurabot not too crazy and just kind of be able to go like farm your beasts, farm your essences, go through your atlas, get your void stones, and that would be, honestly, that would be like the coolest league start ever. So I'm really hoping. But I want to close this video out by saying I appreciate you guys and all the suggestions of builds and everything that you guys bring to me. You guys are absolutely great. I wouldn't be able to make these videos without the support of you guys, and honestly, it means the absolute world to me. So thank you for trusting me with your builds. Thank you for sharing your ideas with me. And thank you for help correcting me when I mess things up, because Path of Exile is a really large game. You're not going to learn everything in one league. It is very difficult to pick up everything, and I'm not an expert. A lot of you guys are experts in many different fields, and every day I learn something new from you guys. So honestly, thank you so much. But for now, friends, I'm going to get this video to you guys. And if you like the idea of an aurabot, or if you yourself are playing an aurabot for a mercenary and you have really cool tech or really cool ideas and you want to share them with everybody, leave a comment down below. And not only that, do you help other people by sharing cool ideas, but you help out the channel a lot by leaving a comment and interacting with the video. So if you have other ideas or other cool things you want to see me try, or cool farming strategies, feel free to also leave them down below in the comment section. I'm always reading your comments and I'm always open to new ideas. But for now, friends, I'm going to do this video to you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one.